Broncos country, what is going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It's been a full day for us Broncos fans. Just a few hours after they dropped the new uniforms, which there's things I like and don't like about it, whatever. We trade for a new franchise backup quarterback, maybe, in Zach Wilson here to the Broncos. Wow. I was pissed when I first heard about this. I'm going to give you my thoughts. What does this even mean for our Denver Broncos? I want to know your thoughts too. So be sure to hit that like, smash that subscribe as we're on the way to 500 by draft day. And let's go ahead and get started. So if you're not familiar with the terms of the deal, thanks to ESPN, I'll break that down right now for you. Here we go. Jets will receive 6th round selection from the Broncos, 203 overall, who will get Wilson, and then we get the 256th pick. So we trade back 53 spots and get Zach Wilson. Jets and Broncos will split the salary. Jets will keep the $5.5 million. Is due $5.5 million. So each team will be paying $2.75 million. Thank you for that, Adam Schefter. So that is really it. And what does this mean? This has been tough for me to figure out because I'm like, why? I would rather use a 6th-round pick on some defensive lineman or something like that. Bring in Joe Milton. I like the Joe Milton experience, right? I think the first thing that we can say is that I don't think we're drafting 2 quarterbacks in this draft now. Okay? Unless we want to free up some more cap space, we could cut Jarrett Stidham and save $5 million. So maybe that saves us $2.275 million if we take on Zach Wilson, which we're doing, and then release Jarrett Stidham. It's a way to open up some money, maybe to bring back Mike Purcell. Seems like a lot of work to do, for that type of reason. So I don't know if that's likely. I think this is just insurance, though, if we don't get our guy. There are a few tweets that I wanted to point out that I bookmarked here. First thing here from Cody Rourke saying, I feel the Zach Wilson trade will allow Denver to trade down in round 1, acquire an early 2nd-round pick, but it will let them take a good playmaker in round 1 and potentially Bo Nix in round 2. I would absolutely love this type of scenario. And it could allow us to trade back up into round 1 to go get that quarterback. Because I do like the idea of having that 5th-year option, So maybe we're going to get our wish, guys. Maybe we really are going to get best player available at 12 or trade back a little bit and take a best player available and then get our quarterback with our 2nd pick in round 2, or maybe we move up for a 2nd first-round pick. That's kind of how I'm reading this. Or if we trade back far enough, maybe we just, again, select somebody like Bo Nix or Michael Penix, whoever, at the end of the 1st round as our first pick. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I don't think you're going to see us trade up very far to JJ McCarthy, up to like 4 or anything like that. But if he's there at 8 or 9, if they like him enough, I imagine that they will attempt to do this. Very interesting. Now, another scenario, I think Respect My Co's brought this up. I apologize if you didn't, but I think he said that, hey, maybe if we don't get our quarterback like Bo Nix or Michael Penix there with trading back, maybe Zach Wilson is just insurance in case we don't get our guy, so to speak. And so instead of going with a day 2 or day 3 pick at quarterback, we just instead settle on Zach Wilson. And we run this thing between Zach Wilson and Jarrett Stidham for this year. How do you feel about that? I mean, it would be exciting in like a sad way, But Mark Lewis, I'm sure you're happy about hearing this because I think you got to be feeling a little bit better about maybe Jarrett Stidham really is going to be the starter this year, right? Maybe that's a way to look at it. There was another one that I wanted to highlight here. Zach Seegers, friend of the show, as always, says, I wouldn't put too much stock in Zach Wilson as the Broncos starter. Sean Payton heavily emphasized minimizing sacks as something important to him. And Zach was 1 of 4 QB sacked more than Russ, and 1 of 4 with a worse rate of stopping pressures from becoming sacks. So him and Russell Wilson both suck at dealing with pressure. The way I read this is maybe it's more of a reclamation project, a long-term franchise backup, quite possibly. A Jameis Winston of sorts. Okay. And then one other thing. Respect my coast. This was hilarious. This Drew Brees comparison with Zach Wilson with their first 3 seasons in the league. You see, it's not too much different, okay? So, Sean Payton resurrected Drew Brees' career, okay? Some people will say that Marty Schottenheimer developed him. Sure, Marty Schottenheimer taught him a lot about reading the game. But let's not have revisionist history that Drew Brees was some great quarterback at the San Diego Chargers because they picked Philip Rivers to replace him. Let's not forget that, okay? With like a top 5 pick. But this was fun. You can see Zach Wilson actually had more pass yards per attempt, less interceptions, and more rushing statistics. But you see completion percentage was 2.5 points less. A quarterback record. Yeah, I don't know. Zach Wilson had 12 wins, 21 losses. Drew Brees had 10 wins, 17 losses. Both guys lost a ton. Let's see. And there was one other thing that I wanted to showcase here. Yards per game. Drew Brees 200 to Zach Wilson 185 passing. So again, not the it's not an exact comp, but there's enough here that I thought like this was very hilarious that Michael, respect my coach, is bringing this up. And they have a very similar quarterback rating. Zach Wilson 73.2 to Drew Brees 73.7. Now again, these are different quarterbacks. These numbers do not tell the whole story, obviously, because there's a reason why really nobody wants Zach Wilson and why Drew Brees still had starting offers from multiple teams, the Saints and the Dolphins. Or I believe the Dolphins were heavily considering making him a starting offer and then settled on Dante Culpepper. But nonetheless, maybe there is something that Sean Payton can do to resurrect his career and really showcase Sean Payton as the greatest coach of all time or something like that. Because if you're going to make Zach Wilson the next Drew Brees, yeah, you're the greatest coach to ever live. But hey, welcome to Denver, Zach Wilson. I'm sure you'll love it out here. Happy to have you here. And I'll be happy to have you here if the plan is really, if you're just going to be a long-term starting quarterback or a long-term backup quarterback for us, right? Would have preferred to hold on to the draft pick. I feel like this is a little overkill. I think I would have rather had a 6th round pick and $2.75 more million. But it is what it is. If he ends up being then Jarrett Stidham, it's a win. So y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what this means. As you can see, I'm still at a loss for words trying to make sense of this, but please draft a quarterback in round 1 or round 2. I'm not too picky, just please. I don't want to go through a season with this. But who knows? This could age like milk. Y'all have a good one. Smash that like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe and go Broncos.